I started this book in 1982 with Gene Roddenberry. And then he got busy on Next Generation. I worked on Next Generation. Bob Justman stepped in to help out. John Black, all the original producers. But that was all research. I started the actual writing about 6 years ago. It took 6 years, but there's 3 of these, about 2 years for each book, which is about normal for a good biography.
And what was it? So the idea was to do a biography on this show? I mean, that was the original intention?
Yeah, I practiced it. I did one on the I Spy TV show, which is a biography of a television series. I turned it into Flesh and Blood and used the same template for Star Trek.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you know, and finally getting a chance to put this together, and for this to come out now, I mean, that's pretty exciting. I mean, what is it that people can find in this? I mean, what makes this book different?
What can't they find in this? What Gene and Bob and John and Dorothy and all the creative staff gave me was all the memos, all the scripts, all the story outlines, all the communications with NBC, the shooting schedules, everything. They gave me 70 boxes this big, filled with documents. And Roddenberry said, I dare you to put all that in a book. Well, I couldn't. And even at 600 pages, I couldn't. That's why there's 3 books, one for each season.
Wow.
It was a lot to fit in there. But being my background is writing for TV, and I wrote for Next Generation and many other shows. Television writers, screenwriters write in the moment. We're not writing about something that happened 50 years ago. It's happening right now in front of you. So what this book does is it puts you in a time machine. And it takes you back, and you're sitting in Roddenberry's office watching them write the scripts. You're reading the memos they're writing back and forth on each script. What works, what doesn't work, what can we do, what can we afford to do, what do we have to take out. And then you're on the set with the actual schedule. What shot where, what day, how did something go wrong? Did somebody get hurt? Did somebody get sick? Is Shatner throwing up because he ate in the commissary? How late did they go that night? Are they behind schedule? All that stuff. And then I got a tour guide for each episode, somebody who was there, one of the guest stars or somebody on the crew who gives us the personal side as we're walking through all of that.
That's amazing.
So you're literally on the set watching the episode film. We have over 200 pictures in this book, and we have a lot of clapboard pictures and BTS pictures of them cracking up, because that's what you would have seen if you were on the sidelines. You know what the episode looks like. We're going to show you pictures that you don't see in the episodes.
Now, doing this kind of detail, obviously, you know, that gave you a chance to explore a lot of legends, a lot of myths, a lot of things that have been out there for, you know, decades. I mean, without, you know, I mean, I don't want you to give away, you know, the store, but, you know, but is there something that you could talk about that kind of shattered a myth?
I was shocked. About a third of the stuff on the internet that you read about Star Trek is folklore. It's not true. And that goes for all the books that have been written too. In here, because of all the actual documents, you get to see the truth. I'll tell you one truth. We were always told Star Trek was a failure on NBC, right? That's why they had to cancel it. And the writing campaigns got it renewed. I licensed the Nielsen ratings for every episode. Star Trek is winning its time slot quite often during the first season. It was NBC's #1 rated Thursday night show, beating sometimes the best competition the other networks had to offer. And yet they said the ratings weren't good. They moved it to Friday nights. It was their #1 rated Friday night show.
Wow.
You don't cancel your #1 show.
Well, it's expensive, but wasn't it the most expensive show they were producing?
It was the most expensive show on TV. That and I Spy were the 2 most expensive shows.
Yeah.
But the problem with Star Trek is they didn't understand it. They didn't get along with Gene Roddenberry. He wanted to be a modern-day Jonathan Swift. He was a bit of a rebel. And what Gene did is he wanted to tell stories about Vietnam as it was happening.
Yeah.
He wanted to tell stories about sexism, racism, overpopulation, all those things. NBC did not want him talking about that on entertainment primetime TV. They had their news division, which made commentary, and they had their entertainment division that just told wholesome stories for American families. They didn't like the type of stories he was doing. You'll see so many memos in here from the network trying to tone it down, saying, don't do that. And he would sneak it in and do it anyway. So the decision by NBC was, we got to get rid of this. But we can't cancel a top-rated show. So let's move it to a night where maybe it won't do as well.
Yeah, the great.
And let's move it again.
Yeah.
Let's try to alienate it from its audience so we can justify to our stockholders canceling it. And that's what they finally did.
That's actually really interesting because that makes sense too. Why you would probably do something like that, and networks have been known to do that anyway to get rid of troubled situations. They'll just create situations, or put together
There's a great line. Bob Justman said it. I think it's in this book, but it may be in one of the other two. He said, "A network can't guarantee a hit, but they sure can guarantee a failure. They'll find the time slot, they won't promote it.
Yep.
They never promoted Star Trek. And they won't give it any support, and they will do everything in their power to lose the audience and get rid of a show if they're not getting along with the producer or if the show is crossing the line."
Yep, it sounds like Firefly.
And Star Trek crossed the line every week just with the costumes.
Yeah.
It introduced the miniskirt to America. Those costumes were too sexy for NBC's tastes. They were having a heart attack with every episode.
Wow.
So the network's agenda was, we got to get this show off our network. And they did.
Is Harlan in the first season, or does he come in the second?
First season, he's interviewed.
So how does, did we learn anything new about that whole situation? That's been
Oh, absolutely. Because see, I ask the hard questions.
Yeah.
I don't ask them what they've already been asked. I ask them the truth about things. And I asked them, Harlan, you won the Writers Guild Award for the first draft of City on the Edge Forever. Mm-hmm. You've been angry at Roddenberry and his staff for rewriting it. Well, now we know exactly who wrote what. It's all in this book. We've got the memos, the different drafts. And I asked him in the quotes in here, I said, so when you won that award and you shook it over your head and you looked at Roddenberry and all of his people, I said, never let them rewrite you. I said, the audience applauded because they were all writers. It was at the Writers Guild.
Yeah.
I said, but did that help you get any more work? And he said, Mark, nothing I've ever done in my life has helped me get more work. So he was very honest and very candid, as he always is. I got a couple Harlan Ellison stories in here you've never heard before.
That's awesome.
And everybody I interviewed at great length. Instead of seeing a sentence or two, you'll see paragraphs. Because with 600 pages, we have room to really let them talk. We have room for all the memos, room for all the ratings. About 15 pages per episode.
So, where can people find the book? Well, how do you get it?
Right here.
Well, if they're not here.
You can buy it at the publisher's website. Just Google "These Are the Voyages," Mark Cushman. It'll take you to their website. You can buy it there. You can also buy it at Amazon.com.
Excellent. Is there a digital version?
Not yet, but there will be.
There will be.
We'll do a digital version. We'll do a softback later on, but for now, hardback. Next one in November for season 2.
Oh, wow.
February for season 3. They're all written.
Yeah,
we're just spacing them out. You got to do that. And then as soon as that's done, then we'll start putting out Kindle and paperback and so on.
So when do you start Next Generation?
That's probably going to be the next one.
Really?
I just did. I was on the in-studio guest this morning for Fox Morning Show.
Yeah.
And LeVar Burton was there as well. And we were on the same program together. And he said, so you're going to do Next Generation next? I said, probably, because I worked on that show. I know so many people from that show. And I wrote scripts for Beyond Belief, which starred Jonathan Frakes as well.
Beyond Belief.
So I've got a lot of intros there.
Yeah, I miss Beyond Belief.
But I'm not going to make it, what was that, 7-8 seasons?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do 8 books.
No.
I think I'll probably do the first 3 seasons in one.
Yeah.
Because Roddenberry produced those. And then do the Rick Berman period in another book. So I'll break it up a little.
Yeah.
But, boy, I can't, I'll be dead before I finish it if I do it this way.
Yeah, so, and you know that William Shatner's been doing a documentary on the Next Generation, the beginning years of Next Generation.
Really?
Yeah,
good for him.
It's called Wacky Doodle. And he said that's kind of what everybody was calling what the turmoil was like in the first 2 seasons of the show.
Yeah.
But it was just Wacky Doodle. So I don't know how. He's obviously not going in the same depth you're going in, but
it was tough writing for that show in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it was trying to find its way. The episode I pitched to Roddenberry and sold was Sarek. Between season 1 and season 2, but it didn't get made till season 3. Because it was the first episode to take a character from the old show and put him in the new.
Yeah.
And Roddenberry said, we got to do this.
They really put him in not just a cameo, but really.
Yeah, Roddenberry loved the idea of doing a show about a Vulcan going through senility. That's how he sold it. But he said, I don't know if we're ready to do that story. Maybe season 3, so they pushed it back.
That's a great story, too.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that was a great episode, and Mark Leonard really had the chance to shine in that episode.
That was the first thing I said. I said, you like Mark Leonard, he's still acting. I said, how old does a Vulcan live to be? He says, we think about 400.
Really? 400?
And I said he was probably about 200 when the first Journey to Babel,
Yeah.
and this show takes about 200 years later, so he could still be alive going through senility. And I said, Gene, what happens to a Vulcan when he goes through senility? I don't know what happens. I told him, and he said, write it. And there you go.
That's great, and that was a great episode.
Thank you very much.
And it led to like a really, I think they wrapped that up in what, reunification, right? Part 1.
Yeah.
They wrapped up the Sarek line, and
Yeah.
before Mark died, but it was great. I mean, that's a wonderful episode. So
Thank you.
I want to tell you, I knew that was yours. So
Peter Beagle rewrote me.
Yeah.
Gene loved the script, but he said, Mark, I can tell you liked the first show a lot, don't you? And he already knew. He was telling me to write the book.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. And he says, because it's paced more like the original show. And Data's sounding too much like Spock. So he said, we're going to have to rewrite you. And I said, do what you need to do. Just get it made.
Just get it made.
You got it made.
That's all that matters. Get that story up there.
You bet.